Alright, so we're going to be going over Season 5 Ceremony Charlotte's full build. And I mean, there's a lot of stuff to talk about, especially with Gear Transcendence now coming. We're going to have quite a lot to say. Charlotte is a pretty much game-changing unit, being the best support that I just don't know how they're ever going to power creep. I genuinely mean I don't know how she's going to get power crept ever. It's going to be interesting to see how that goes, but it is honestly a good thing because of her that Gear Transcendence came out, because if not, units would just not have been able to die at all. So yeah, no, Charlotte, definitely very good unit, amazing design, cool animations, and I mean, it's Charlotte, our second Charlotte, right? She's a green supporter, so we're going to be going over her full kit, I mean, right now, so let's get into it. What does Charlotte do? So she's green, first of all, and I mean, for global, that is honestly going to be pretty good right now. It's still like a decently blue dominated meta with, I mean, you're going to see a lot of the SSRs being like Charmy, some Charlotte, a lot of William, a lot of Julius, right? Some Lotus, some Mars. You're going to see all the really good blue units, right? You won't really see too much of green yet, because like once Mario and Charlotte comes out is when it starts to get spicy, right? And then red is slowly getting there with the addition of Witch Queen this season. It will be pretty good. But Charlotte herself is an amazing supporter. So she's an SP supporter, damage reduction supporter, and barrier supporter. Skill 1 gives SP +1 to the person with the highest attack. So usually the DPS gets the SP buff, so you could get the DPS's ults a lot quicker. The skill 2 gives 2 SP, debuff immunity to the designated target, and also gives yourself a 100% chance to reduce your skill cooldown, which is also insanely good, right? This part, like, man, being able to almost get your ult every turn depending on the talents is just a very, 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 very nice thing to have. And then the ultimate gives 54% damage reduction for 2 turns to all allies, defense pen to the DPS, to the attacker, and extends everyone's barriers by 1 turn. Alright, the 54% is super strong, right? You're able to stack this with William's buff, with other damage reduction buffs like Gul'dari's, so you could get pretty much the max cap of 90% with Charlotte, because 54 is a lot, right? The combo gives the partnered mage a 100% HP barrier. She has pretty good HP, so keep that in mind. Now, when the whole team is green, she gives her HP as 80% to everyone as a barrier for 1 turn, which is why the ult is pretty good, because you're able to extend the barrier duration on everyone. So even if this is 1 turn, well, you ult first turn and then you get damage reduction plus an extra turn for the barrier. And she starts off base speed 120. At LR +5, she gets to 124. Now, her base kit, right, is insanely good. She is very quick still. 120 speed at 0 dupes is very strong. Charlotte is just way too good because of this damage reduction, with also giving extra damage to be dealt. Plus, it's very strong, right? The skill 2, debuff immunity plus the SP. Very quickly, before talking more about the dupes, what should you be upgrading for Charlotte? Well, just stick to the skill 2 and the ultimate, upgrade both of them, that's it, right? Start with the ult first, because that's what gives the damage reduction, and then afterwards go to the skill 2, but I would recommend maxing out both, because for the ultimate, it gives the extra 24% damage reduction, and that's a must upgrade. And then for the skill 2, it gives a guaranteed skill 2 lower cooldown, so those are definitely 2 that you want to upgrade. The rest is just damage, so it's not that needed. But if you want to upgrade the skill 1, it is not a horrible idea, because of the fact that sometimes Charlotte will do like okay damage with that skill 1 somehow. I mean, like, this would be good, but then once you get her dupes, which, let's start talking about it right now, right? Her dupes. Should you really be duping this girl out? And I mean, I would say so. I would say so, right? If we look at it, at dupe 2, she gives the person with the highest all attack, the DPS, always the squishiest unit, 50% of her HP as a barrier. For example, my Charlotte, my support builds are not really that crazy. This is not a full HP build. She has 85k, probably closer to like 95k, right? In game. So this would be about a 50k barrier every time it's Charlotte's turn. And if Charlotte is early on into the match, the DPS is going to have the barrier, plus also the damage reduction, plus extended barrier, which makes it very strong. Now the LR +5 gives taunt immunity, which, I mean, is actually very strong, but I think that's more something that you get over time. Now, what she gets as stats is 2000 attack, 1000 defense, and 4 speed. She's at 120 speed, goes up to 124, but I have a +2 speed on her. So, keep this in mind. that 124 speed is not the quickest. We look at it, and she is like the second quickest unit in the game technically, or third I guess, considering there's two. So I mean, there is that, but you're not going to be going first all the time. So even if you're at 120, it won't really be a big detriment to you. But obviously if you have like the +3 speeds and you want to go before William, then sure. But in a lot of cases, no matter what, you're going after William, so there's not really a point in chasing that +4 speed in a lot of cases. It could be good for some instances, but it's not like completely detrimental. Obviously, if it's your Charlotte versus another Charlotte, that's a different thing. That's the only reason why it could be toxic. Besides that, you don't need to chase the max dupe, but the 2 dupe is super strong. You will see so many instances where this 50% HP barrier that she puts every single turn is just going to change the battle completely. The DPS is at 1 HP. Now they have an extra 50k HP that you have to get through. Very, very strong. Pretty much what makes her just #1 in the game, right? You got damage reduction, you got increased SP on skill 2, skill 1, debuff immunity, and with the skill page also stun block, and then you also just got damage, plus the barriers is where it really gets Charlotte above and beyond. Now on green team also, she is going to be very strong. Now the units we're missing is units such as Fauna, Mara Leona, right? I guess also the Vanessa too. And I mean, Licht does work pretty well. He's a good substitute for Fauna. But Fauna's a very, I guess, to make her work in high PvP, you would need a lot of stuff. But if you're just like playing PvP for fun, Fauna could be pretty fun in lower PvP. She's very good. It's just in higher PvP, there are instances where she will get cooked, but a lot of times she will actually do very good damage. But for just a quick example, you would need Fuego skill page, not this Fuego skill page max dupe for Fauna to really perform well in upper league. So keep that in mind, keep that in mind. Now let's go on to the skill pages. To start off, oh, I skipped one. Let me get that one back. But her skill page is probably the best one, if we're being honest, if I could find it. Her skill page is the best one. Because, I mean, sure, it gives, there's a chance to get damage reduction when you're attacked by an attacker, but that's not the crazy part. It's really what it adds. It puts it to +3 SP, just to kind of confirm that, because it doesn't show on Pride Win. Here it says +3 SP. So you see the 3 SP here, only when you have the skill page. And then it gives stun block for 2 turns. And you're putting that on one person, the DPS is going to get debuff block, stun block, 3 SP. Insane. Plus you're giving the, if it is the DPS, you're also giving them the barrier, which is why Charlotte is so good with the skill page. But if you want to just get more skill points for Charlotte herself, this one could be very good with more dupes. You know, you get more every time you're attacked, you get skill points. And since Charlotte is very quick, she will use her ult first, and then afterwards you can just farm her ult very quickly with the skill page. This one, if you obviously want more barrier HP, if you're getting her to 2 dupes, I would recommend 2 dupes, remember. Then this one, if you're using the skill 2, want some more DPS, this one could work. This one, I mean, hey, she's gonna get extra stamina when she, or mobility when she gets her, or when she uses her ultimate, which she's using right away in most cases. So, you know, there you go. And then this one, which the ads are taking space, for interest, right? For defense, I read the ad and I'm like, oh shit, but no. For defense, it's gonna be decent, right? I would say this is probably the last option between all of them. I don't know if I would say this is in order. It goes a lot by scenarios, but this one for green team is probably going to be very, very, very good. Now then, back on global, just to show with the text, what should you really be running for Charlotte? So optimally, I mean, you could go, I would say this is the best attacking one. So you get the attack, which she is based off attack, and then you get the extra damage dealt. Crit damage ain't really that big for her. Now on this side, you do want the HP. So it would be the 10%. Is that 10% or 5%? 5% HP, and then you get the defense, which isn't crazy, but it's that, or you get a fortified buff against bosses, which you don't really need. So this and this for sure are the two that you would go for. Now on this side, you would in fact go for this. You want to get the chance for the reduced skill 2 cooldown, because every time you use the skill 2, it reduces the cooldown. So no matter what, your cooldown is already only 1 more turn. Because of that, if you get this proc, she has 0 turn cooldown on her skill 2. Amazing. And then the damage res. For the top one, I guess put attack and magic attack. For this one, I would put defense for straight stats, or crit res if you want a bit more crit res would work well. Now if you want the damage res because you're gonna have like a Black Ost on the team, that would also be fine too. And then here, it's gonna depend on either speed if you're max dupe Charlotte, or HP. HP 2 if you're on a mono green team would work out very, very well. Now, what gear should you be running on Charlotte? If you're running a non-mono green team, I would highly suggest running a 4-piece plus 2-piece. So it would be 4-piece plus 2-piece speed, 4-piece speed plus 2-piece defense or HP. HP also works well. I just kind of go to defense because I don't really farm the HP sets much, and I'm gonna guess that's the case for many of you guys, especially with Transcendence. You can't really be affording to go for other sets besides the attack speed defense, which works on everyone. So yeah, this is for sure the one I would go for on a non-mono green team. But on a mono green team, you could afford sometimes to be a bit wonky with it. So even the HP set, I think, okay, I don't have, hold on. For the mono green team, or just if you really want to have big barriers, you could run a full HP set, well, 3 HP sets with 2-piece speed, HP, and then defense, whatever the hell you want. Tanky would be better. So like that's what I would go for. Now, as for substats, always prioritize HP first. That's what we want mainly out of Charlotte, for her to have big barriers, because if you don't have her at 2 dupes, which I recommend everyone getting her to 2 dupes, she is just that good of a unit that she is worth it long term, right? She came out in season 6, we're in season 10 now, and she's still like #1 pretty much. So you want to prioritize on HP. Then afterwards, going for crit res and defense is both good stats. Also, damage res is not a bad idea. So that's what I would go for. As for accessories, you would like substats, obviously same stuff as I just talked about, defense, HP, crit res. But you would obviously, like, if you get any HP accessories, then go you. Congrats. But if you don't, then it's completely fine. You're going to go on the defense ones, and that is just how it's going to go for gear. Now then, as for teams, I could give a couple different teams that I think would make a lot of sense as to being like really good for Charlotte. Okay, really good. So we're talking about like the meta of the meta teams. Now this is the first team. So William you could get for free. Charlotte you're going to get. A lot of people do have Black Asta. Now this slot is going to be the slot that I think some people, at least who are new, coming back because of Charlotte or whatever, all the cute quality of lives are not going to really have, would be Julius. So this slot, whatever DPS you really have would work. I mean, you could even like in the future slap a Mario Leon on it, but I mean Julius will be getting a rerun at some point, probably in the next 2 seasons, so just hold out for that, right? Hold out for that. But mainly this team is going to be pretty good. Either you get double damage reduction with Charlotte and William, which does stack together, additive, right? And then this last slot is kind of the like free-for-all slot, I guess. You could put Black Asta, then you could put Noelle, and then in the future, Mario Leona would work too. You could also do in the future too with like Mario when she's out. With Black Asta would work pretty well, right? So there's a lot of different variations, but William, Charlotte, and then you have like a DPS, and then the last slot is just a like big boy support, right? So like Noelle is what I count as a support because she's helping you do more damage and just stopping the enemies from doing a lot of stuff. But there's so many units you could also place here. There's also the team comp where you put Vanessa with Julius, which we just went over, and Vanessa is free. And in this case, I mean, Julius is gonna, you have to make Julius quicker. Sorry, you have to make Julius slower than Vanessa, so you would have to do this. For the reason that Vanessa, when the units are on the left, the units on this part are quicker, okay, than the ones on the right. So I don't know if it's like this one's the quickest, second quickest, third quickest, fourth quickest, but I know that in this instance, if they were at the same speed, Vanessa would always go first because she's in the second slot. So just keep that in mind because Vanessa gives the protection, so then this would help greatly. Now, of course, you guessed it, next one is Mono Green. This one would be a good team to run as long as you make Fauna slower than Vanessa, which should be doable, besides the fact that Fauna is, you know, obviously much quicker, just base speed. Now, obviously right now, you could also just put, where is it? For this slot, you could put Langris and also Licked, especially with Gear Transcendence. If you get high crit values on Licked, like I'm talking very high crit damage, like 130 to 150% on Licked should be doable if you're really pushing for it. This team would work out very well. And you could also, if you don't want to run Vanessa, but for this team, it would help a lot to run Vanessa, especially with Licked. Turn 1, he can't be targeted, he could use his ult. He has immortality, so he's going to last a while, right? Which is very important. Okay, that's going to be the main thing. You could also put someone like Rodis if you want stun block, because Fauna won't be out yet. You know, you could go for something like that. And I mean, even Gul'dari could go here, but you know, Rill is actually quite good. Now, for this supporter slot, usually you do put a debuffer on this team. Mono Green does profit from having like long-term types of debuffs where Rill removes debuffs, but in the future, Yuno will be very good too. Okay, because of the fact that Yuno removes immortality AoE, it could work out very well when we got Fuego back in the meta. So to kind of recap Mono Green, you would have Charlotte with a DPS, okay? So Fauna, Licked, or Langris works. And then this slot, I would say a support like Vanessa would be good, right? Is my personal opinion, but then also like future Vanessa would work, anything like that. And then this slot to me is going to be good for a debuffer, is like how I see. So support debuffer is usually the way to go. Now in the future, obviously this slot's gonna be Marileona, and then you have to like choose support or debuffer in the future, right? That's gonna be the main thing for you guys to kind of see, and then like usually the team is gonna end up looking like this. Where's Fauna? Hello, Fauna. I would like to, okay, so like the team would end up looking something like this essentially, is how mono green team would go. And then you got to consider mono green for this. Vanessa gives the immortality to Marileona, she gives the 80% HP barrier, and Fauna gives stun block turn 1, so this one would actually, you know, be quite good. Now finally, just a little thing, very small change, but if you have Mario and Fuego together, Charlotte works very well on this team, right? Put the damage reduction, or even put the combo with William, and then Fuego is going to be able to go crazy. Charlotte lets Fuego live until he needs to, or she could also give him the stun block that he needs to basically stay alive, but usually the damage reduction works out just fine, right? So these are like kind of like the main variations. Usually a William Charlotte team is like the main one, and then afterwards you would go for mono green if you would like to. I mean, mono green does work well, but you could really use her with any unit. She's the only unit that lets where's it, Green Yami even like thrive even slightly, right? So that is kind of important for you guys to know. Now what you could have fun with too is doing a Zora team with Charlotte in the future. Could work out very well. Zora himself is quite quick at 112 speed, so you're gonna have Zora, Charlotte, and then these two are gonna help support the two tanks that you're gonna put on the team. Mario being the DPS in this case, but still being tanky as she is a defender. Charlotte's gonna give the damage reduction, Zora's gonna give the reflection and the defense increase to Asta, give everyone the reflection, and it's gonna go very, very, very well. Charlotte's just an all-around amazing unit. Even for PvE, she is useful, right? So I hope you guys do enjoy Charlotte. She does change the game a lot, and it's why Transcendence was kind of needed, because if you just let 90% damage reduction run around while giving barriers without like helping you do more damage in some way, then it was bad. It was bad, right? It was really bad. It was bad. Okay, so I hope this video was helpful. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.